the previous videos, we mentioned about the preparations for the presentations. We mentioned about two parts of the presentations. First one is the presentation slides. The second one will be the verbal presentations. There are quite a number of common mistakes when we are preparing for our slides and also during our verbal presentations. If you observe carefully, all these common mistakes are actually built on certain fundamentals, which is related to the effectiveness of the informations and message being delivered to the audience. You want the audience to be able to comprehend every single content of your presentations, staying focused on the essential points, and be able to remember all the points that you have made during the presentations. This may sound very easy, but there is a lot of aspects that you need to take into considerations. In these videos, we're going to proceed with our discussions on how do the slides and the verbal explanations complement each other in helping the audience to understand your presentations. We did mention that both the slides and the verbal presentations must be standalone. They need to be self-explanatory and they need to complement each other. Let us look into details. What does it mean by the statement? As demonstrated by the figures here. Now you see two main components of the presentations, which is the slide and the verbal presentations. Out of the two components, there will be three possibilities. The first possibility is you have only slide but without any verbal presentations. The second possibility is you do not have slide but you have verbal presentations. And the third possibility it will be you have the slide plus the verbal explanations. And this is reflected by the situations of the audience, whether the audience prefers reading the slides or prefer listening, or the audience doing both at the same time. Each of the slide and the verbal presentations need to be standalone. That means all the content given in the slides as well as given in the verbal presentations must be self-explanatory, which is valid on its own and even without the complement of the other, such as you have slide without verbal presentations, or you don't have slide but with only verbal presentations. The audience should be able to understand most of the content. In fact, I would say that the audience must understand 100% of the content. All the essential part in terms of the content of the presentations must be included for both slides and verbal presentations. The chemistry happens when you have combinations of the slides and the verbal presentations. On top of that 100% understanding, the presentations become more effective. The time taken for the audience to understand become faster, and the impacts to the audience become greater, where the audience can easily remember all the essential points that you made during the presentations. This is how the slides and the verbal presentations complement each other. Therefore, when you want to review your presentations, you need to review the slides and the verbal presentations separately, making sure all the essential information is being delivered, and the delivery methods needs to be as effective as possible. And then you review your verbal presentations, the things that you're going to say during the presentations. You're going to make sure it is well synchronized with the slides. There is no redundancy. All the essential parts being covered. Necessary emphasis given to those points which is supposed to be stressed. This will constitute an effective presentations.